Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. The Russians continue to pound Ukrainian critical infrastructure that they started I think on the 10th, and they according to the Ukrainians delivered about 160 missile strikes, and they increased their missile rocket attacks sevenfold, and now they still continue to hit it with missiles. So this morning, which is Saturday, the 22nd of October, Ukrinform, it's a Ukrainian media outlet, reports that Ukraine's Air Force destroyed 18 Russian cruise missiles just in the morning, Saturday morning. I thought that the Russians ran out of missiles a long time ago. They were about to run out of them. When did they say that? In April, I think. The British intelligence said that, and then they kept saying it every month, that the Russians are running short, but never ran out of it. It says here that on the morning of 22nd of October, the Air Force of Ukraine destroyed 18 enemy cruise missiles. Out of how many? 19 or 16? On October 22nd at 7 o'clock, the Russians launched a massive missile attack across the territory of Ukraine. Critical infrastructure facilities in various regions of the country were attacked. At least 10 Tu-160 and Tu-95 strategic bombers took off from Volgodonsk district of Rostov region to launch their missiles. So at least 10 Tupolev-160 and Tupolev-95 strategic bombers. Wow, that's a lot. Well, looks like World War II now, a little bit. A total of 17 KH-101, KH-555 cruise missiles were launched. So they launched 17 cruise missiles. In addition, the Russian warships attacked Ukraine with a salvo of 16 Kalibr missiles from the Black Sea. There they are. From the beginning of this operation, the Russians kept their submarines and some submarines, and about 5 or 6, and then 7, 8 warships in the Black Sea, by Sevastopol, by Crimea, and from time to time they would, according to the reports, launch 1 or 2 or 3, Odessa area, and not very much. Now, since the 10th of October, it seems like things started to pick up, and finally they used Black Sea capabilities more than before. When they started on the 10th, 12th, they started using, destroying the infrastructure in Ukraine more than before, let's put it this way, or precisely with the goal of destroying it, they started using the sea-based navy ships and what the hell, too much heroin or something, and their submarines. Now, there were those reports saying that the Russians ran out of missiles and rockets, and they used First World War rockets or something. And then he was the German defense minister, or not defense minister, he was the German, I can't remember exactly his title, but he was, I think the title of that was the chief of military, of German military. His name was Zoom with Z, something like that. Not that Z. And he said that Russia will not run out of missiles and rockets and projectiles anytime soon. He said that they have a massive number, and they said that they're perfectly capable, Russians are perfectly capable of opening a second front whenever they want. They said they're not employing their full force, which I think it's obvious that I don't think the Russians are using almost anything. Just think of this. Russia has a standing army of over 1 million people. Over 1 million people. Standing army meaning people in military uniform that are ready for combat. And then you have the whole altogether is like 2 million. And then you have what fighting in Ukraine, we remember at the beginning of the invasion or special operation, they put about, according to the Europeans, 150,000 military personnel at the border, and then when they entered, they added the volunteers from those regions and volunteers from Chechnya and Syria and wherever people came to fight for the Russians. I don't think they employed more than the Russian army then. Russian army. I'm not talking about the whole coalition of whatever, the mother of all coalitions. Remember that statement? Attacking 20 million people of Iraq. That's, I think, Roosevelt. Rumsfeld, I think, and it was Roosevelt. Rumsfeld, I think he said that. Cheney or one of those weasels. I would say they qualify for the prize of criminals of war for what they did in Iraq. But who am I to say? Well, I just said, so who gives a fuck? So here it is. These guys, I think, did not employ more than 150,000. I don't think they employed even that. They let the auxiliaries, the allies, to fight for their own territory. And obviously they had losses. Now they got, what, 300,000 more out of how many? And they asked for those guys to, they recruited those guys. They mobilized those guys. Now we would say, well, why did they have to mobilize those guys if they have the standing army? That's a good question, and I can't answer that. I am not going to say that they have, positions all around bases in Russia that have to stay over there, but they will have to mobilize up to 300,000. Russia has a capability, if they have full mobilization, of about what, 30, 35, at least 35 million people. Do they have the weapons? Because you can bring the people, but do you have the ammunition? I think they do. Because countries have they have plans and have strategy for various, like basic. I'm not talking about, oh, we're going to have a mission somewhere going to, I don't know, Mali or something and go over there. That's a new thing, but on the other hand, that goes under the strategy of Africa, West Africa, South Africa, and so on, different regions. You have to have that done along these years. So when they said, okay, now we're going to do this little thing in Ukraine, that was planned for a long time. And when they say, well, how about if we have a general or full mobilization? Do we have the weapons? I'm pretty sure they have them. I can't remember who I spoke. I spoke with an Iraqi guy. An Iraqi guy fought on the Iraqi side when the Americans attacked. And so he said that he was in the military and he was given a certain kind of, he said, Chinese weapon. Chinese AK-47, let's put it, Kalashnikov. So he had those things that were not very good, he said. And when the Allied invasion occurred, he said that those things were taken from them and new ones, he said, clean, new, never used ones were given to them. And he said they were Russian made. It was a different quality. I don't know if that's true or not, but this is what the guy told me a weekend ago. Actually, I met him in person. So he just said it's a different, they had it. He said all that weaponry, they had it in storage for this kind. So the ones that they had for practice and training were the ones for any piece of shit military would have for his 2 years service or 1 year and 6 months service or something like this he had. And then the war, they go and get the real ones. Not the real ones, but new ones. So Russia, when they think about, oh my God, we have a full mobilization, I think they have as a strategy all those things already stored. They just have to go and get it, give it to the population, and go and defend the motherland. So I don't think it's about Russia running out of weapons, as this guy said, zoom, zam, whatever, anytime soon. So thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.